Well, welcome to me, Mark Littlewood, joining you from Calador, Mallorca for my World Cuppa. A look back on the madness and excitement of last night's matches. And of course, today's the big day. England get underway. So we got a couple of great guests joining us. We also have my main wingman, who's made it back from Paris in France. And I don't know whether he took the Channel Tunnel or whether he flew or whether he came in by dinghy. But I gather that he has made it back from France. My wingman, Glynn Brailsford, the Stato, the Glindex, as we call him.
Looks
Glynn,
like he's still in the tunnel, Mark.
He's still in the tunnel, is he? Okay, can we hear him? Or we can't see him, right?
No, Glynn,
can you hear me at all, Paul?
Oh, gotcha. We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you, but you haven't got your camera on, I think.
Okay, I've lost vision for a moment. Hold on, see what happens.
So let me just run you through last night's results. France beat Senegal 3-1. Iraq lost 4-1 to Norway. Argentina destroyed Algeria 3-0. A Lionel Messi hat-trick at the age of 39. And Austria overcame Jordan 3-1. Look, I'm probably going to start with Norway because they're one of my dark horse tips for the tournament. And they went to this World Cup and they didn't literally go by Viking longboat. I mean, it was just a photo kind of image, but they were dressed up, obviously proud of their kind of Norwegian Viking history. And I think we've got image number one, Pooch. If you haven't seen it, this is, look around on the internet for pictures of the Norway team. This is Erling Haaland, possibly the best centre forward in the world. I think that's a photographer rather than a worried goalkeeper looking at him. They were all dressed up in their top kind of Viking gear. And I like that. I like a country showing that it is proud of its traditions. I don't think Haaland there was wearing rainbow laces on his Viking boots, right? He's, so why don't England do that? Why are England always performative? Why can't we just have a little bit more patriotism in what we're doing? And here is my annoyance. I was just confessing at the tail end of Russell's show that my first two bets on the tournament have gone south. Now, I've got a bit of an excuse, right, that I have to bet odds against. So I've got to bet on something that is less likely to happen than to happen. But last night I bet on Haaland scoring a hat-trick. I would have more than doubled my money had he done so. He had scored two before half-time. I thought I was made, but the second half just didn't go for him at all. So, I mean, he had one good shot. Last minute, there was an own goal, which he assisted. But so, all right, I'm 20 quid down, but I'm going to count that as a reasonably adequate bet. I kind of lost that one by inches, but wait till the end of the show before to see what my tip is today. To try and double your money, as I say, gamble aware, and other financial advice is available. Have we managed to get Glynn back? Is he still in the Channel Tunnel?
No, he's still in the tunnel, but Adam's here. Should we go to Adam early?
Oh, let's take Adam early then. Great. My sparring partner, well, not literally, thankfully, because this bloke's a damn good boxer. Adam Brooks, my sparring partner on the sofa of another well-known channel. Adam, how the devil are you? And are you injured from your recent boxing triumph?
I'm good, mate. I've just got a lovely shiner. It's gone down a little bit, but yeah, it was sort of like a Rocky-esque type shiner a few days ago. But yeah, I'm all right, mate. All good. A few bruises under my body, a few aches and pains, but I'm good.
So, and I'm told that this is literally a case, Adam, of you should see the other guy because you won, right?
I did win, but he weren't really marked up. I won on points, Mark. So I went the full distance, which is 4 3-minute rounds, which to those that don't box doesn't sound a lot. But those that know boxing, to go 12 minutes of fighting, is a long time. So, yeah, it took a bit out of me. But I won the fight on my jab, mate. I won it on my jab.
Congratulations. Great work, Adam. Now, look, you and I tend to agree on most things when we're sitting down together and shooting the breeze. Only nuances of difference, my friend. But one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, because you have such an interesting perspective here. I kind of look at the economy from 30,000 feet and big numbers and everything. You are a pub landlord, right? And consequently, you're in a great position to talk about the hospitality trade, which has been on its knees. But I understand that the economic theory is this, that a kind of good run for England means that you guys are going to coin it, and it's going to wipe out the damage caused to you by hikes in the minimum wage or national insurance or business rates. Tell me, is that a myth? Is that a lie? Or are you expecting your pub to coin it tonight? I know the game's late. It kicks off at, 9 o'clock England time. How big a boost is it for folk like you, Adam?
Look, it's a boost because my pub's a little backstreet pub. When the weather gets good, it tends to fall off a little bit in the summer. So this is a good little bit of timing for us. But I think people will see the pub should be really busy tonight. I've sold all my tables. I'm hoping the bar's going to be packed, the garden's going to be packed. But people don't realise, like, my Saturday and Sunday dropped off at the weekend. Probably because everyone knew that they was going to, go out and get on the sauce midweek and the England games are coming. So it's not all, pure profit. It does affect our normal trade as well. Like, I really hope we get a good run. If we can get to the final, it really will help a lot of pubs. I think I've got 8 screens, including the garden, Mark. So tonight it really is a football pub. Look, we just need a good run. And I think more importantly, the feel-good factor will get people out. If we start playing well, if we start, a bit of national pride at a time when this government and all the politics out there, it's just gloomy. So I think not just economically it's going to help us, but the mood in the nation. So no pressure, boys. It's all on you out there,
Yeah. But interesting point you make, Adam, right? That I've seen all sorts of wild figures bandied around about, how many pints are going to be served at pubs. And, I even saw some calculation, if we get to the knockout rounds, how valuable it is to the pub trade if it goes to extra time, because that's another 30 minutes and everybody will buy another drink or whatever, or penalties or some such like. But you're saying it might just be kind of, to some degree, displacement activity. If everybody knows they're going to go out tonight on the lash to watch Croatia, maybe they weren't patronising your pub on Saturday or Sunday, right? So it's not every pint you sell is a pint you wouldn't have sold anyway. It's just people have shifted their habits to be with you when England's on. Is that right?
And I would guess as well, I roughly know what I take every Wednesday, every Thursday, that I bet my Thursday trade tomorrow is down because of it, hangovers and people have been out. So yeah, it's not just, that's just bit of bunts, that it does have a knock-on effect. But as I say, I should take a decent amount tonight. And it is a boost. It is a boost. We've just got to hope that people start getting into this World Cup fever, because I've been away, obviously, when my fight, I was in Manchester, so I haven't watched one game yet, Mark. So I'm looking forward to getting into this, and it's sort of spurring me to start following this World Cup, because I've got to say, my local area, normally you see cars going around with the flags and people bibbing. I haven't seen that so far this year, and I really do think we need a good performance tonight to get people into this World Cup. That sort of frenzy hasn't been seen, especially in my area. I don't know about, where you are.
Well, I'm in Calador, Mallorca, Adam, right? So the English tourists here are well up for it, because they, like me, I think have rocked up here just to sit in bars and watch football. But yeah, I was rather hoping the vibe here would pick up, because obviously the locals are all cheering on Spain, but they had a pretty grim start to the tournament. So everybody's being a bit downcast here. But I can see why you want that vibe. It's been a pretty grim year, a grim couple of years in England, really. But you're a football man as well. I was, and I'm going to apologise for this, Adam, live on air. I've been ribbing you throughout the season because your team, Spurs, were doing really badly. And my team, Southampton, were doing really well. But as the season ended, you guys actually stayed up. And we got cancelled. Southampton are now part of cancel culture. We got banned from the final. But you were obviously pretty depressed for most of the season as a Spurs fan. As an England fan, Are you one of the optimists or are you one of the cynics? Russell Quirk keeps telling me, I doubt we'll make it through the group stages. Do you always carry in your heart that maybe this is the year, or have you been, once bitten, twice shy?
I fail to get too excited about having a German as our coach, Mark. A foreign manager. I would have liked to have seen an England manager. I know there wasn't many options, but certainly the friendlies that he's played, I haven't seen too much to get me really excited about the performances. Look, the big stage is different, so hopefully they step up, and we've got some great talent there. And I'd love Harry Kane. He's always forever a Tottenham player for me. I'd love to see him sort of go out with a bang. This could be his last World Cup. Go out with a bang and show everyone that he really is the real deal and probably the best striker in the world, in my opinion. So, look, I think we're going to settle the nerves. It's going to be a bit nervy for the first 15, 20 minutes, and then hopefully these players step up. But I actually, for the pub trade, interestingly, I probably wouldn't mind us coming runners-up, Mark, because the times are a little bit more friendly of the games for the pub trade if we come runner-up. So that wouldn't be a disaster.
That is intriguing. So you're going to, Adam, try and message Tuchel to, throw the last match or something if we've already qualified in order to take a patriotic look at the pub takings.
Yeah, I've got the times here. So I was just sort of looking if we get through. If we get through as winners, there's a 1 a.m. one, which I probably would really struggle to show that in my pub because I've got sort of older staff. Time you get out of there, it could be like 4 a.m. I don't really know sort of what on my customers. I've got an older clientele a lot of the time are going to want to be out till sort of 3, 4 a.m. But if we come through as a runner-up, most of them are at like 8 o'clock. I think there's a midnight game. So, yeah, selfishly, for the pub trade, I think runner-up would be more agreeable to us, But let's see. I'll take it.
But hang on, you're being a bit short-term, Adam. You're channeling your inner Rachel Reeves because it would be good for that game, right? But then I think if we're runners-up, our pathway to the final is a lot harder, right? So you might need to take on the chin that first knockout game, being not ideal for you if it's 1 a.m, in the hope that you're going to hit the big time later down the track when we get to the quarterfinals or the semis or even the final, I guess. So don't be short-term like Rachel Reeves, Adam. Think of long-term economic growth instead.
That's
the way
I think as well, if we're going to win the World Cup, we've got to beat everyone that's in front of us. So, easy path or hard path. If you're going to beat a winner, you've got to beat them all anyway, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, I suppose that's right. And sometimes it's good to try and knock out one of the bigger teams early, right? Sometimes England stumble along, and as soon as they meet a big team, it might be a better idea to get a good team in the second or third round. Tell me about the licensing of this, Adam, right? So I'm assuming your pub can serve alcohol 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. What do you have to do if you want to serve a pint of beer for a match starting at 1 a.m? How easy is it to get around that red tape?
Well, I've got midnight for most days anyway on my license, but yeah, I've had to put temporary event notices in. It's 25 quid. You have to go onto the council website and they approve it as long as no one within the council, the police, or I think it's like even the fire get a say on it. Do you object to that? I've got all my 3 first games in, and the reason I put that in is just so it covers you. If you've got a restriction, maybe everyone has to be out the garden at a certain time, you put in a temporary events notice, suddenly that's like a new temporary license for that night, and you get a certain amount a year, Mark. So I've just played it safe for the first 3 games. We see where we are, and then obviously I've got to put in others if and when we get through, and especially if I decide to show that 1 a.m. game or whatever it is. So let's see. But it's red tape. It would have been nice if the government had sort of loosened things a little bit and made it a little bit easier and said, look, every game you've got till this. There's certain restrictions. They could have played this a little bit better, Mark, if I'm honest. It's been quite hard. I've had to ring up the council, ring up the police licensing to find out. There hasn't really been ready information put out there for pubs. But as always, governments make it harder for you, don't they?
Yeah, and then tell me more generally, because I hope you get a well-deserved shot in the arm from the football, Adam. But how bad's it been for the hospitality industry recently? It does seem to have been an area of our economy that has really suffered in the last year or two. But talk us through, what's your biggest headache in terms of your costs? Which taxes are hitting you the hardest? And what do you need to, make sure that you can actually turn an honest profit more easily, to make sure that pubs aren't closing at the rate of, is it one or two a day in England at the moment that they're closing at?
Yeah, it's look, when you've got a government that are actively putting in policies and budget decisions that just add extra money to your weekly bill, it's so frustrating. The first two budgets Rachel Reeves implemented on us, national insurance contribution hike, that was a bit of a killer for us. It's become so expensive to hire people. Look, we've got our business rate relief was removed by this Labour government. Business rates are a big problem for pubs. We're disproportionately paying higher rates than other businesses. But look, you've got to remember, out of, say, I think the average pint in my pub now is about £5.80. Okay, and there'll be some of your northern viewers that go, "Oh wow, that's dear. Look, my rent is 85 grand a year, a small backstreet pub, so my costs are high, but I get about maybe 15, 16p profit from a pint. The government takes about £2.30 if you add in all the taxes and the business rates and everything they get. It's not fair. So you've got a government that gets over 10 times the profit on a pint that we do. We've got a huge partner that has no say, and if it goes wrong, they have got no, there's no problems for them. So really, in the pub trade, what we need, and there is many campaigns out there, we need VAT to be reduced, Mark, because as you know, 20% of a pint is VAT. So we have to collect that and then pass it on to the Treasury. That keeps prices higher. It affects our cash flow. We want parity for what a lot of countries in Europe have. They've cut theirs to about 10% on tourism and hospitality businesses. Why can't our government see that would sort of inject a bit of oomph to the industry? They don't listen. They see it, oh no, it's just going to cost us that. But if it saves businesses, brings down prices, I think it pays for itself. I really do. And I think even Ireland have got like a 9% rate. So why is our government so intent on making everything so expensive for our customers and increasing our costs? Look, for me, I might sound like a mad conspiracy theorist, but it looks deliberate, like they want to get rid of the independent pubs. I don't know the reason for that, Mark, but you can't be this naive and this stupid and think that you're doing this sector any good. That's how I see it anyway.
And interest cheesecake was just asking. I saw a comment in the chat there, Adam. What about broadcasting things? Do you have to get? I mean, I know all of these games are on terrestrial, right? All of the matches are on BBC and ITV because it's a protected sport. But if you want to show Sky Sports or Premier League football, you can't just like plug in your own personal Sky box and show it. Is that a massive chunk out of your potential profits and revenues as well? Do you need some license for that?
I'll shock people here. My Sky bill, just to show football at my small backstreet pub in Essex, is £1,400 a month. Okay? My TNT bill, which is formerly BT Sport, is about £900 a month. And then when you throw in the odd game that I think they show on Amazon or whatever, so I'm basically paying, what is it now? I'm basically paying about 30 grand a year, 25, 30 grand a year just to show football. And then when the season's finished now,
Adam, are you still? Right, guys, my audio's gone down. I'm not sure if you can
Are
hear
you
me,
still there,
but
Mark?
Adam was.
I can
Yes,
hear
I'm
you.
still here. What's happened?
Adam's frozen.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just going to go to you. Adam, if you can hear us, can you just drop off and come back, please? Thank you. Oh, there we go. How are you doing?
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll try and get Adam Brooks back on shortly. Yeah, he was explaining there, wasn't he, about the sheer costs of having to run a pub, and it all mounts up. Here's my theory of what we should do. Because if you go to a supermarket, there is no VAT on food or drink. I just wonder whether we extend that to the hospitality sector, basically. That we say if you're serving food and drink in a pub or a restaurant, then zero VAT. Obviously, for alcohol, you would still have a tax on alcohol. I think we've probably got Adam back now. Adam, welcome back. Sorry, it's week one for us gremlins in the UK live online system. Pooch was blaming everything that went wrong yesterday on a supposed made-up BBC intern who would potentially infiltrate it. But yeah, you were saying about the costs of running a pub there, and very expensive just to show Premier League football, especially on the different numbers of platforms it's on. What do you think of my plan, Adam? I'd do this to help the hospitality sector. I was just saying you might not have joined us quite in time. Be exempt on food and drink. That's what I would do. And you don't have to pay VAT on food or drink if you buy it in a supermarket. Why don't we just remove it from the pub as well? And you'd still be paying beer duty and spirits duty and all of the rest of it. But why should it be VAT free, if you're buying food from a supermarket as opposed to buying it from Adam Brooks?
Yeah, look, I don't know what that would cost, Mark. I don't know if you have any indication of what that would cost and how they would make that money back. Certainly, as I said before, when we come out of the COVID lockdowns, it was hospitality that sort of led the way in the growth and the recovery in the economy. And we had things like discounted VAT rates. We had things like discounted business rates. I do not understand how this government, the Treasury, do not realise that if you incentivise people to go and use these businesses, if you incentivise us to, take people on, grow, reinvest in our businesses, you're going to get the reward back. If you keep piling costs on us, all you're doing is driving people out of business, driving prices up, and that's good for no one. Look, if you're rich, you can afford to pay £8, £9 a pint. But the average working man and woman, a lot of these people come into my pub after work, long stressful day, and the prices are going up. And some might blame us, the publican, but I think and I hope most people now know that our costs are so high and it's due to the government. So look, if we cut taxes, we could pass it on. It would save us a lot of red tape, and I think it would save a lot of businesses. It's so short-sighted from governments and the Treasury, where they think they can keep taxing. And unfortunately, hospitality is on the cliff edge. And I think you're going to see a lot of businesses go this year if this government, Rachel Reeves, doesn't change her direction.
Yeah. And how are you coping? I mean, when I often see you in the TV studios or the green room, the impression you give me, obviously you haven't shared all the book with me. I'm not asking you to share any private financial information, but are you feeling you're kind of on the cusp, on the edge, that it's it's nip and tuck, whether you can stay in business next year, the year after, if things get even tighter, maybe another tax hike?
No, I tell you what's happening, Mark. At the moment, obviously, look, where I do my media stuff and I've been doing my boxing, I do other things outside of the pub. Obviously, I employ people to do a lot of the jobs that maybe I could do. So my costs are higher because of how I choose to run my pub. Unfortunately, the way things are going, I might have to step back from my media stuff and my other bits just to concentrate on the pub, because the costs and the wages, they keep putting up wages, Mark, and we all want people to earn more money. But when you start putting up minimum wage every budget, a small business has to find that. And we're not given any breaks anywhere else to find that money. So I think just from the national insurance rising, the wages rises alone on the two budget, that might add say £300 a week. That doesn't sound a lot to people who think pubs are just coining it in thousands a week. But if you add that over a year, that's maybe 15,000 just in extra wages. We have to find that money somewhere. So maybe fewer shifts for someone, so they're no better off. Or I have to lay someone off. I can't afford to have two people on that night, or I'll just have one. There's no benefit to what they're doing. If you're going to increase costs in one part of a pub, you're going to have to find the savings somewhere else. And look, I would think the worst thing at the moment is people are picking and choosing when they're going out now, because money is too tight to mention for a lot of them. So instead of going to the pub maybe 2 or 3 times a week, they're going maybe once or twice. And if you have a load of groups and a load of customers that do that, suddenly you're losing like 15-20% of your weekly money. Look, I'm not pleading poverty. I've got a great pub. It is profitable, but it is getting harder and harder. And I just worry if someone like, Andy Burnham comes in, do they add more taxes to us, or the rumour is he might cut that? So it's a double-edged sword there. I'm scared at what we've got coming next, but it might have a Prime Minister that understands hospitality. If we've got to put up with maybe Andy Burnham for 2 years, hopefully he sees hospitality as the important employer of people there it is. Look, pubs and restaurants and bars are some people's first job, Mark. It is their first taster of work. It shows people, what working is about. Or a lot of my staff work full time and it's just a bit of extra money that they need of a weekend, or it's a second job. So it's so important to boost people's incomes, hospitality, or the first step on the working ladder. We want to get more people in work, don't we? And if you start punishing pubs and restaurants and that, you're only making that worse.
Yeah, so I'm wondering whether we need to change strategy on the hospitality sector, Adam, but across the economy as a whole. Our strategy at the moment seems to be, let's put up taxes and see how it goes. And the answer to that has been badly. So why don't we actually say instead, let's cut taxes and see how it goes. And if pub closures stop, and maybe even more pubs start to open and more, pints and food are sold, then, everyone's a winner. You might even see the tax revenue go up, even though the tax rate has dropped, right? Adam, it's been great to have you with us. You have one more very important task to complete before I let you go. And that is, I'm asking my guests to make predictions on the evening games. And we're keeping a running tally. We'll release it at the end of each week about whether I've been closer to each score or my guests have been closer to each score. And tonight's match, now I have the advantage, I go first, right? So the match we want your prediction on tonight, Adam, is Portugal against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Portugal, I should say, are the fourth favourites, not really dark horses, one of the hot favourites. DR Congo, they have been in the World Cup before, but under a different brand name. They used to be called Zaire, so they've changed brands. So I've predicted 3-0 to Portugal. You can predict any score you want other than 3-0. Shoot.
That's funny. I had 3-0 written down. Damn. Right, I'm going 2-0.
Sorry, mate. 2-0 to Portugal. There you go. Yeah, sorry. I do give myself the edge. The house always wins, Adam, because I'm going to go first. Yeah. Look, Adam, it's been great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll get you back on the programme soon. Enjoy the football. I hope you sell many, many, many pints of beer. And I look forward to seeing you again, catching up properly when I'm back in Blighty. Thanks so much, my friend. Good luck. And good luck with the Shiner, I hope, disappearing and going down pretty soon. Been great to have you. I think Glynn's made it. Take care, Adam. I think Glynn's made it through the Channel Tunnel, but we're coming up to about the half hour, and we should probably have a little bit of news with Edward Hughes, I'm guessing. Edward Hughes.
Morning, I'm Edward Hughes with your Tuesday Bulletin. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced a major crackdown. Social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube will be banned for under 16s by next spring, one of the toughest measures worldwide. Tech firms are pushing back, while ministers lobby international partners. In security news, BBC investigations link Russia to arson attacks on Starmer's properties, with evidence of efforts to stoke UK tensions. Separately, UK forces seized a Russian Shadow Fleet oil tanker in the Channel. Economy. The UK saw a 0.1% contraction in April, partly blamed on the recent Iran conflict fallout. Other notes include ongoing political pressures on defence spending and local incidents like a nursery car crash. Politics, security and child safety dominate the agenda. Remember to like and subscribe. Laters, Tigers.
Thanks. That was Ed Hughes with the news. I'm told that Glynn's made it through the Channel Tunnel. Is he with us, Pooch? Here he is. Have you just made it out of the... You've just made it out of the Channel Tunnel, have you?
Well, I flew. I can't blame it on jet lag. It's only a 40-minute flight, so can't blame it on the time difference either. Bit of finger trouble. We were just going in there. I touched something, everything disappeared, couldn't get it back on. So apologies for that.
Okay. I thought you'd made it. I thought you'd come back from France by small boat, not by air, Glynn. It's good to know you're travelling in the traditional route. Look, we touched a little bit on last night's matches before we get to England, but you've got a few thoughts on them. I mean, in our first show, you were kind of portraying the golden oldies, those, you know, in their late 30s or early 40s. Some of them had a great tournament. We talked yesterday about the Cape Verde keeper. But what was your take on last night's matches? France winning, Argentina winning, Austria winning, and Norway winning.
Well, I didn't want to return to that riff particularly, but it's absolutely reinforces what we were saying about the golden olden generation. I mean, Messi, hat-trick, masterclass. Arnautovic, a big dog for Austria. He got a goal. He was involved in. He had one disallowed. He was involved in the other goal. He's weighed in. So I think you're seeing that the guys who have got a bit of experience aren't phased about being in the tournament, and it's their time to shine, so to speak. So that was my take on it. I was looking forward to seeing Paz when he came on after Messi, but the matchsticks under my eyelids fell out then, and I went. Mbappe looks fiercely dangerous and ominous for the rest of the tournament. So, what did you make of it?
Pretty good. I think I'm leaning into Norway being one of the teams that I'm going to love and cheer on. I guess I'm putting them in the dark horse category. I looked up the odds last night. I think they and Morocco are about sort of 30-1 to win the tournament. So long shots, but not madly long shots. And I've really taken a shine to their fans. They're doing all this rowing in the stadium. I don't know if we've got a clip, Pooch, of the Norway fans. I think it's clip number 4. This is them, I think, on an escalator, but they were doing it all in the stadium. And you could hear the kind of Viking roar. It was absolutely, absolutely. That is the way to do it. Row up an escalator in Boston. Absolute
it's
props.
Brilliant.
Glenn, you probably need to come a bit closer to your microphone, Glynn. We're struggling a little bit on your mic. So,
are you?
Now,
if that helps.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. I said we look. Let's talk about England a little bit, and we're going to be joined by Chris Snowdon shortly. But I want to give you a little bit of a look at my England lineup, the team I'd go with. I don't think it's particularly controversial, but if you've got image 3, Pooch, that's Littlewood's Lions. So this is how I would go. Pickford in goal, pretty uncontroversial. My back line would be O'Reilly, Stones, Guillet, and James. Mainu and Rice in midfield, kind of holding pivot players. I've gone controversially. I'll explain why in a minute. Rashford on the left, Jude Bellingham as the number 10, Saka on the right, and Harry Kane up front. Glynn, what's your take on that? Is that would you pick that? That's what Tuchel's going to pick. What do you make of it?
I think it might be, but it's not exactly what I would pick. I think we mentioned this earlier, that the team 8 of the 11 picked themselves, I think. The two where I would differ from your lineup, I think I'd have Concert and Gay at the back. Love John Stones as a player, but I think he only played about 96 minutes across the whole of the last season. He's got, sadly, a proven track record of injury. So I just wonder how sharp he is and whether the friendlies they played going into the tournament were enough to really get him up to speed. And then the other one is I wouldn't have Rashford. I'd have Prince Charming, Gordon on the wing. Although I do take the point that he's not half a bad sub because he can go down the flanks on either side and can play as a centre forward. And if Harry Kane is tiring or injured, he can play down the middle, which he did really successfully for England under 21s under Lee Carsley, if you remember, the one they tournament with him in that role.
Well, the reason I have dropped Gordon, and I hope Tuchel follows my advice, is that photo that Pooch just put up on the screen. If you're going to pose like Princess Diana, you don't get called Prince Charming, you get benched. That is completely inexcusable behaviour. And look, it is so inexcusable. I'm even making way for Marcus Rashford, whose kind of wokery has irritated me somewhat. But that's beyond the pale for me. Here's my worry, okay. I expect footballers to, not just be athletic, have unbelievable technical ability and all the rest of it. I expect them to know the rules of the game, right? Because tactics are really going to matter. And Saka, who's obviously a key player for England, I think he makes everybody's starting 11, probably. Now, he's been playing for Arsenal all season, who won the Premier League in no small part down to the fact that they got excellent at corner kicks. Now, the rules have suddenly changed entering this tournament for corner kicks. And a feature in the Premier League is you get lots of jostling and shoving and shirt pulling in the box. Defenders and attackers both going for it. And that's not a free kick until the ball comes into play. So whilst the corner kicker's there, wondering whether to go near post, far post, knock it short, there's all sorts of jostling in the penalty area that isn't penalised. And Arsenal made hay out of this in the Premier League season, right? But they've changed the rules now. And in a slightly one-sided way, they've changed the rules to allow defenders to effectively commit fouls while the ball's out of play, but not attackers. So if a defender defending a corner is pushing, shoving, pulling a shirt a little bit, no foul. If an attacker does it, it is a foul. So I think you would assume this will make it considerably harder to score goals from a corner kick because attackers can't impede defenders, but defenders can impede attackers. You would have thought this would be a major tactical consideration for England and their key players. Well, Saka was asked about this in an interview, and I think we've got a clip of his interview. I think it's clip number 3 on our running sheet, Pooch. Saka was asked about this, and he's utterly clueless. Now, I can understand he doesn't want to release any secrets from the training ground. That I kind of get. But I would expect him to at least acknowledge that the rules under which he is playing are have actually altered. Have we got that clip, Pooch?
Thomas has said you and Declan Rice are the corner takers. I just wanted to ask you about the new rule and the meeting that you had with the FIFA officials. Do you think that the rule that you can now award a foul before the corner is taken is going to be an improvement? The manager says that he thinks it's going to be a lot for referees to consider.
Wait, what's the rule, sorry? Award?
If an attacking team makes a foul before the ball is in play, they can award a foul and end that corner, essentially.
So he doesn't understand the rules, Saka, basically. Absolutely stunning. Look, I'm sorry to get your hopes.
Face mark of ignorance being no defence, or in his case, ignorance being no attack.
Yeah, it'll be ignorance is no attack. You're absolutely right. Look, we're probably being a bit downbeat on England, but I'm pretty sure our next guest is going to be even more downbeat. He's famously curmudgeonly and pessimistic. It's Christopher Snowdon, who's the head of lifestyle economics at the IEA. And as you can see, Chris, I think you're the first Middlesbrough fan I've spoken to since the Spygate saga. So it's good to see you in your Middlesbrough colours. You'll forgive me for saying I was glad that Hull City won the playoff final against you guys. But I'm guessing Southampton versus Middlesbrough is going to be a big grudge match. Chris, can you hear us? I don't think Chris can hear us, Pooch. Let's put Glynn back on until you've sorted
I
out.
don't think Chris can hear us. So let him go and come back. So
It's all gone quiet over there.
it has all gone quiet. I don't think he'd have appreciated that comment about the playoff final, Mark. But I know I know what you mean. Right, I've got him coming back. 1 second. Let me just see if this will work. Let's go to there. There.
Well, Chris, can you hear us now?
I can't hear anything. There's no point. I can't hear anything.
Okay, Pooch, you got to sort out Chris's audio. Let's bring Glynn back on. So,
I'll tell you what, Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about Messi last night and how he actually plays? Have you ever watched him live? Have you ever seen him live?
Yes, I have. One of the best games of football I've ever seen was Real Madrid 3, Barcelona 4 at the Bernabeu Stadium, and he scored a hat-trick, yeah.
Yeah, I saw him score 2 at the Nou Camp, but when they won 5-2 against some team managed by Gus Poyet, if you remember him. But I thought the really fascinating thing, and I was watching from really high up in the stadium, is how little, and this is what, 8 years ago or something, pre-Miami, how little running he actually does. I've never seen a footballer who just stands and then almost silently walks into a position, and then they find him, and then he kills. I think you had a theme about herons, didn't you, on the show? Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
Correct, yes.
He's a bit like a heron, that he's stealthy, he's motionless, and then he just strikes with deadly efficiency.
And he's another one.
Sorry, Mark. Should we try Chris now as we're running? But he's come back again.
He might come back, but how am I going to communicate with him? Sign language?
Hello, I can hear you now.
Wow, I don't know what happened with the audio, Chris.
I do. Your software doesn't work with Firefox. That's what's wrong with it.
Ah, well, there you go. Well done. Well
on my
sorted.
phone now. How are you doing?
So you're on your phone.
Good to see you. Good
Yeah,
to see you,
yeah. Well, I was praising.
I'm hiding.
I was praising.
No, you don't.
So, for those of you who don't know what the hell's going on here, I am a Southampton fan. Chris is a Middlesbrough fan. And it turns out that on the pitch and on the field of play, Southampton have markedly the better team. But it turns out Middlesbrough have the better lawyers, right? So when it comes to a regulatory tribunal, we get defeated. And it was all for naught anyway. So Middlesbrough versus Saints is going to be a pretty big grudge match next season, I'm assuming, Chris, right?
Yeah, it's good. I'm not bothered about not getting promoted. I mean, we got beaten fair and square twice.
Yes.
So
the only team in history to lose the championship final and the championship playoff semi-final.
It's a record that probably no one will ever beat that. And obviously I would have preferred to win the final. But if you're a neutral, the funniest outcome was us just getting beaten by the team that finished 7th without having a single shot on target. So it's a shame we're probably going to lose Hackney now, but onwards and upwards. It's never easy getting out of the Championship. West Ham are down there now. It's even harder when you start on -4 points because of disgusting cheating, I suppose.
Well, we'll overcome it, as I say. Bad lawyers, good players. I'm hoping the players can overcome the disastrous legal defence that we put up. Look, now I'm guessing, Chris, because I haven't spoken to you about this, but you are going to be curmudgeonly and downbeat, not just about Middlesbrough, but about England's prospects in this World Cup. What are you predicting?
I think they'll do well. I think I haven't seen that many games, to be honest with you. I saw a bit of the France game yesterday. They look pretty tasty. I think it'll be either France or England, probably, but who knows? I mean, there's only really 5 or 6 teams that can do it. I've got a lot of teams in different sweepstakes. Everyone I know who's done a sweepstake is heartily sick of it. Who have I got? Ecuador's probably the best of a bad bunch. I've got Iraq, Norway, New Zealand, and the Congo. Because there's 48 teams in it, and there's only, 40 of the teams have got absolutely no chance of winning it. But I think England, to answer your question, England definitely are one of them. And so I haven't got my money on them. I've got my money on France and the USA. USA, just because I think I can cash out. It's 50-1 USA. I think they'll probably do pretty well as a host nation. Had a good first game. Yeah, I think we'll do. I think we'll do pretty well. I haven't. To be fair, I haven't seen what our possible permutations are. I think it's quite difficult, isn't it, for us? But I guess it always is if you want to win the World Cup.
No, well, there's this very complex thing because you've got across the 12 groups, there are 12 seeded teams, of which England is obviously one. But there's a complex piece of maths behind the system that leads to all the algorithms, which is that if the 4 top seeds, which are Spain, France, England, and Argentina, all top their groups, we'll see whether that happens. But if all those 4 top their groups, those 4 cannot meet by any combination until the semi-finals. Now, if one of them screws up, it all goes south, right? So if Spain end up qualifying in second place, but if all 4 top their groups, which I still think is the most likely outcome, then Spain, France, Argentina, and England can't meet until the semi-finals. I think we're paired with France, and it would be Spain, Argentina in the other one, if all of that goes to plan. I mean, many a slip between cup and lip.
Well, that's quite encouraging. In that case, I'm going to say we'll get at least to the quarterfinal, but we'll probably lose tonight, and I'll be wrong as usual.
And what do you make of it, Chris, being in the USA? You're the head of lifestyle economics at the Institute of Economic Affairs. And you complain about things like ludicrous taxes on pints of beer. Have you seen the prices? Oh, my God. What is it? £12 for a pint of Budweiser in a stadium in America. What do you make of it being hosted in the USA and Mexico and Canada?
Well, it's a way of making sure they can get it in Saudi Arabia, right? In a few years' time, because it covers both continents. I think that was the thinking. Isn't that the idea? Same as they did it in North Africa and Europe a while ago, or next time they're doing it there.
Yeah, next time.
I mean, FIFA is obviously just epically corrupt. I as a free marketeer, I can't complain about the price of the tickets and the price of the beer. Buyer beware. I've never been to a World Cup. I don't think I probably ever would do unless it was in England. Everyone was saying there's going to be loads of empty seats. I can't say I've noticed many in the handful of games I've watched so far. So they must be filling them up. People are prepared to pay it. So I guess World Cups have just been very underpriced for a long time, and so is even Budweiser.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that's a very, very free market response to everything. Yeah, I mean, I still yearn for the days. I mean, I'm just probably becoming a gammon, Chris, right? But I just yearn for the days where one country hosts it, Spain or England or Germany, or I don't mind it going out of Europe, whatever, Peru or something. And we all go there and we all play there. And you don't have to. I mean, I'm trying to think where all of England's games are. I mean, if you were wanting to go and follow England, you are having to engage in cross-continental travel, obviously at a markup rate. Look, I know 99% of people are watching this tournament on television, but you want the crowd, right? You want there to be all these Norwegians who are, doing the rowing boat thing. And you want the England fans singing the Keir Starmer anthem. Who's going to win there, do you think, Chris? Have you seen this, that FIFA are trying to ban the Keir Starmer is a wanker song and are threatening to kick England fans out if they sing it? I am boldly saying that will lead to a double down of the volume and the number of people singing it. What do you think? You're against bans, right? Even if you're in favour of free markets.
Yeah, no. I think there's safety in numbers. And the more people do it, the less likely they are to get in trouble. I don't think they'll enforce it. It's a very hard thing to enforce, singing songs. It's difficult to prove who's been singing, and it's very difficult to get rid of thousands of people. So no, I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah, but do you think the England fans will therefore double down?
Oh yeah, I hope so. And apparently they're going to be booing during the ad breaks. I mean, the hydration breaks, which would be great because this is a horrible development in the game, and you can just see it's going to spread, beyond the World Cup. These things always do. It's like VAR started with the World Cup and putting a bit of spray down for free kicks and all. Yeah, some of these ideas are good, some of them are not. But they always test them out at the World Cup, and then they go, well, if it's good enough for the World Cup, it's good enough for everyone else. So, I'm not happy about the very blatant way they're trying to turn this into American-style football with quarters. We don't need hydration breaks, as far as I can see. I don't think we even had them in Qatar, although, to be fair, that was played in winter, but still very hot. We haven't had them in when it's been in Mexico and Brazil and very hot places in the past. I don't think we need them, and we certainly don't need to be. They don't need to be 3 minutes long. clearly they are 3 minutes long, so they can stick a load of adverts in there. So that is one side of commercialism that I don't agree with.
And do you think here, because we haven't spent too much just discussing the new rules, the hydration break scandal, but they have claimed, and this very much goes to your field of work, they have claimed this is all about health and safety of the players because of the temperatures, even though the temperatures in different stadia vary wildly, right? So I could understand if it's an unseasonably, unbelievably hot day in Dallas, Texas, and you're suddenly playing at 10 degrees hotter than you were expecting, perhaps for a safety reason. But every match for 3 minutes, their claim is player safety. You don't buy a word of that, right? You think this is entirely to split the game into 4 quarters.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, FIFA they're not particularly subtle in what they do. You know, they're very kind of balls out about being massively corrupt and entirely motivated by money. And as I say, it's difficult to put up a free market argument against that, other than to say that if you're a football fan, you have to just try and laugh it off, and hope you don't go up to the Premiership like we are not, Mark, and we don't have to put up with VAR and start going to non-league football like I do, where things are still pretty pure. But if you want to go to the World Cup, I'm afraid it's going to cost a lot of money. I was watching one of the documentaries about Italia 90 the other day. I'd forgotten that the police effectively kettled the England fans on the island of Sicily for the first 3 games. So it was the opposite of spreading it over 3 big countries. They had all the games on one small island, which from the point of view of economic efficiency was probably a pretty good deal for the England fans, although I'm not sure how much alcohol they were able to access.
Well, yeah. Well, it could be a bit like the Scotland fans in Boston who actually managed to drink Boston dry, as I understand it, with the governor of Massachusetts sending out pleas to neighbouring states to send in more tenants extra. Absolutely unbelievable. Chris,
I'm
you've got
hearing
one other
stories about Dallas today, actually, with the England fans.
Oh, is that the same? Have we drunk Dallas dry?
We're in the process of doing it, I think. Yeah.
That is to be commended. Chris, you have one other very important task for me, which is each day I'm asking my guests for their predictions, 1 prediction per guest for tonight's matches. And the game that's fallen on your shoulders is indeed England versus Croatia. Now, I have predicted it is going to be a 1-1 draw, so you can predict any score other than a 1-1 draw in the Mark versus the rest of the world contest on the prediction game.
Warnall's a very popular scoreline so far, isn't it? I think about half the games have been draws. I've started putting £2 on any draw that's 4-1 or better, so I think it's the way to go. Of course, as soon as I started doing that last night, there weren't any draws, and you could argue that because there've been a lot of draws early on, there'll be fewer as regression to the mean. Anyway, I think tonight I'm going to be optimistic about it. I don't know much about how Croatia are playing these days. Modric is about 40. He's really the only one I can think of. So I think I'm going to be optimistic about this and say it's going to be a comfortable 3-0 victory to England.
Blimey, I've never seen you so optimistic, Chris Snowdon.
We've got a good team this year, Mark. We've got a very good team. Players playing abroad. Harry Kane's on fire. Jude Bellingham. It's a good team. I'm not going to get carried away with it, but we haven't got a difficult group. I was watching the France game yesterday, and the commentators were saying France are in the group of death. France have got Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. If they've got the group of death, everyone's got the group of death. All the groups are the same. Basically, there's one country that's obviously going to go up, one that's obviously going to go down, and then 2 teams scrapping out for second place, half of whom will go through anyway. It's all a bit rinky-dink. I just hope people don't get bored of it by the time we get to the knockout stage. I don't think I will.
Is it called the group of death because of the human rights record in Iraq and Senegal, rather than because of their performance on the pitch, perhaps?
Possibly, yes. Or the Iraqis player get killed if they don't win the game. I don't know. But there aren't very many truly exciting groups. Let's be quite honest. But there have been some good games. So, I was never one of these naysayers going, this is going to be a rubbish World Cup. There isn't such a thing as a rubbish World Cup, really. 2010 came quite close, but it's all worth watching.
And are you watching it? Have you become a kind of night owl like me? I'm sleeping very weird hours.
No, unfortunately not. Like I say, I've only really watched about 3.5 games. I will watch them so long as they're on before midnight, maybe at the weekend if there's something worth watching. But I didn't stay up for Scotland, for example, as tempting as that was.
I watched it all. A dull 1-0 win. Look, Chris, given you're in such optimistic mood for this World Cup, we'll definitely get you back on as England storm through the group stages and through the knockout rounds and hopefully into the quarter semi-final and all of the rest of it. And I greatly look forward to Saints versus Middlesbrough next year. I'll make sure you can come with me to the stadium for that one. Proper football. Proper football.
Indeed. Proper
Chris,
good match. A new major rivalry. Let's have it.
Yeah, let's have it. Chris, great to have you with us. Unless Glynn's gone back in the tunnel, let's bring Glynn back on because I want him to help us to preview tonight's matches. Glynn, what have you got for us? So what's happening tonight? We've spoken a lot about England. My prediction is a 1-1 draw. I'm being a little bit pessimistic. I do think England will do well in the tournament. I just think we might go off to a slow start. And if it is 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, it might very well be the case that both teams will settle for a point. So that's my prediction. It is also my bet. So you can see if Pooch has image 4 on our clipboard. My bet today is, they're all the predictions. We know that you're going 3-1 Panama to beat Ghana, interesting, and 2-0 Colombia to beat Uzbekistan. Here is my bet of the day. And as I say, I've cast this because I'm on such a bad run at the moment. As you can see, I'm 40 quid down so far. Both of my bets have been losers, although only narrowly on Haaland, but a losing bet is a losing bet. 20 quid at just above evens. That will give me £44, and I'll be back in the green if England fail tonight. But I've kind of placed that bet because, I want to curse my own bet. If every bet I place is going to be a loser, that means England will get off to a winning start. But tell us a bit about the other matches, Glynn. Obviously, we've had our guests' predictions. Portugal against Congo. What do we need to know about those guys?
Yeah, before that, I was just going to say I'm with you. I'm 1-1. I just don't know how England are going to combat Modric and co in midfield. So it's a good job I wasn't predicting because I wouldn't wanted to shift away from 1-1 on that one. Yeah, the other games tonight, Portugal, DR Congo. Highlights of that, I guess, is for Portugal. It's somebody may have heard of, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's his 6th World Cup, like Messi. Fantastic record. And no doubt he's been watching and he's thinking, I've got to get myself a piece of this action as well. So he'll be going for it tonight.
So it's worth saying, Glynn, that Ronaldo and Messi in their 6th World Cup, they have now individually played in more World Cups than 172 countries have.
Yeah. And also Ronaldo has done something like, he's won 108 caps since he was 30. He's got 220
All right.
odd.
So Portugal are probably going to...
and people think they're dark horses, but they are ranked 5th in the world. They've got fantastic midfield players, 2 really good midfields if they want it. Bizarre little facts about Portugal as well, that such is Ronaldo's fame, that his mum, Dolores, is also a star in Portugal. She's a star of all the ads for a supermarket chain called Pingo Doce. So that there's not just him coining it in there. And Ronaldo himself is on the commercial front. He's still knocking out shampoo commercials, and perhaps a sign of his advancing years. He's recently been pushing a hair transplant clinic, so maybe I should get the number for that one again. DR Congo, they're rated 46th in the world. Most known player is probably Johan Wissa, who
now at
played for Newcastle last season, had a storming couple of years at Brentford, went to Newcastle, misfired a bit last season, but had a lot of injuries, but is far and away their leading player. And I think the only other DR Congo player people might be aware of here is, do you remember there was once a Chelsea prodigy called Gael Kakuta?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's 34 now. He's played around the world, 15 different clubs, but he's still a very strong part of the national team, and he switched his allegiance to DR Congo after getting 174 caps for France at youth and junior levels.
Yeah, I don't approve of that. I think once you've picked your nation, you pick your nation. That's ludicrous in my view.
Pick a lane, as you say. And I think you may have mentioned this earlier in the program when I was locked out or got myself locked out. The DR Congo were formerly known as Zaire. So this is the first time they've been in the finals for 52 years. But
yeah, they've just been rebranded.
Exactly that. But when they qualified for this tournament, it was declared a national holiday in the DR Congo. And returning to a point that Leo Kearse made earlier in the week, most of the DR Congo squad were actually born in Europe. So that's them. Another match to focus on, Uzbekistan against Colombia. Uzbekistan are ranked 50th in the world. This is their first major tournament in any guise. They should know a thing or two about defending, I guess, though, because they're managed by Fabio Cannavaro. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, captained Italy to the trophy in 2006.
In 2010, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 2006? Yeah, when Italy last won it, yeah.
Yeah. And their defence features one player we will know. That's Manchester City's Abdelkadir Kuzanov.
Oh, yeah.
Who, he's like lightning at the back and incredibly strong. And he's the first player from Uzbekistan to feature in the Premiership, by the way.
So
and,
that one, I just assumed this would be a walkover for Colombia. Maybe not so.
Yeah, maybe not so. This is just a weird one. Kuzanov's dad, Kikmat, he won 12 caps for Uzbekistan in the noughties. And I think he had some kind of hit record later on, but let's not bother about that. Colombia, they're actually ranked 13th in the world. So you'd pick them as favourites for the game, 13th against 30th, I guess. And it's on American soil. They're playing at altitude, which they should be more than used to because, plenty of people in Colombia are used to working whilst they're high. So I won't go any further on that one.
Yeah, very good.
And there's a bit of a Merseyside flavour to the Colombian team. Two players we know. James Rodriguez, if you remember him, he scored the goal of the tournament back in 2014, but then donned an Everton shirt without too much success. And Luis Diaz, of course, tearing it up in Germany. So I think they would be my favourites for that. Panama,
Ghana. Very quickly, Ghana versus Panama, because that's in England's group. Those are supposedly the two whipping boys, but what do we know about them?
Well, Panama, they're ranked in the 30s, 33rd in the world, but they made fantastic strides. 30 years ago, they were 150th in the world. So they're right now one of the world's most improved teams. Doesn't mean they're great, just means they're way better than they were. And they're managed by Thomas Christiansen. You may remember him. He was briefly Leeds' manager, very cosmopolitan background. He was born in Denmark, but moved to Spain. He was in the Barcelona academy whilst Johan Cruyff was manager. So I guess he's picked up a few tips. Ghana, thing to look out for them if they do it tonight. When most footballers go down the tunnel, they avoid eye contact and just keep their headphones on, don't want anything to do with everyone. The Ghana's play is different. They actually play drums and sing. They have a ceremony called Jammer Time, which they sing on the way to the dressing rooms. So I hope we get some coverage of that. Yep. They're ranked 74th. The most familiar face is probably off the pitch is Carlos Queiroz. Remember him? Used to be assistant manager at Manchester United. And the Ghanaian government, they offered to pay for £800 to travel to the tournament. It's about $9,000 US dollars at a time. Their best players, I guess it would have been Mohamed Kudus of West Ham, but he's out injured. But also, not to be ignored at all, Antoine Semenyo, who was brilliant for Bournemouth last season and then had a storming start to his time at Man City as well. So I could see him nicking one against us when we finally play them as well. But they're tonight's games, Mark.
Right. Well, let's hope this is the start, finally, of it coming home. 60 years since we won the World Cup. 30 years now since It's Coming Home as a song was actually released. So of those 60 years of hurt, we've been lamenting years of hurt for half of that goddamn time now. But yeah, it all really definitely gets underway, really, for England fans. Tonight, it's been a nice tester and teaser so far. But now we move on to the main course. Glynn, it's good to have you back. Now you're out of the Channel Tunnel. We'll be looking forward to your Glyndexes in programmes to come.
For tonight.
Let's hope so, and let's hope it is coming home. I know I've been a bit downbeat. I saw somebody in the chat saying got to keep an eye on Luka Modric. Another one saying we've got to make sure that we supply Harry Kane rather than taking shots ourselves. But finally, maybe 60 years of hurt are over. And to play us out, I've got permission from Terry Neeshaw. He's a great football artist. Do look him up on social media. And he's put together some painting and some music, which I think, Pooch, is clip number 6 to play us out. Make sure you join Mike tomorrow on the Mike Graham Show from 7 o'clock. That'll be followed by Russell Quirk at 10 a.m. on UK Live Online, and me back for another World Cuppa, where we'll try and iron out a few more gremlins by tomorrow's show at noon, as usual, to reflect on whatever has happened to England in their game tonight and all of those other key matches too. Ghana, Panama, Portugal, the Democratic of Congo, and Uzbekistan versus Colombia. I'm hoping, Pooch, that you might have that clip to play us out. And
I've got it.
Great, you've got it. And I look forward to seeing. Oh, remember to hit like and subscribe, and do share the channel. We're building up those subscribers nicely, but make sure you are subscribed. We've had to recreate it from scratch. And here is some England art to play us out. See you all tomorrow, people.
Sixty